Hi everyone, I'm Kat. This is Kats.Cross.Stitches, my Flosstube channel all about cross stitching, all the cross stitching in my life. It is Friday the 14th of August 2026. It is 7:20 in the morning, so a bit earlier than I normally record, so it is a bit dark, but we're going to see the sun come up together. Melbourne is still grey and miserable as my heart and soul. It feels like this winter has gone on forever, but it will end. I mean, at least the sun's up now before I leave for work in the morning. Speaking of work, I'm starting work a little bit later today, which is why I'm recording this morning. Ellie, it is Friday. It is not Saturday yet. Do not panic. So the last 2 weeks of stitching, I've done 14,861 stitches. A few more this morning before started, but high 14,000. It's pretty good. The reason I'm recording today before work is I'm starting work a little bit later and I have quite a bit of stuff on this weekend, which grown-up stuff, boring. But I thought, let's try doing this on a Friday morning before work. It may mean I need to speed up at some stage because part of my job, well, I don't want to talk about my job anyway, but I do need to be at work at some stage. So if I skip past a few things or I go quickly, you know why. Let's begin with what I'm going to show you today. So up until Wednesday, I did not have any finishes. So I thought, well, I'll bring along some of my older finishes and show things that I've promised people I would show at some stage. On Wednesday, I did have a finish. So what I have are some older finishes and then one recent finish. I have an absolute ton of WIPS. I think I've got 14 here, plus a bunch I'm not going to show because the progress was small or not interesting, and then 4 new starts. No haul because it's what I do have is just a couple of threads and 2 patterns, so I'll save them all up and show them in the next video. All right, I've got clips, I've got water, the phone's on Do Not Disturb. I remembered that this time. Let's get to it, and I'm going to first show 6 finishes, but they're all in the same vein that I did early 2025, and Kylie at Kylie's Crafty Notions is stitching one of these. I've done all 6, and I mentioned that I would show them. So they are the Bunny Tins by Durene Jones, which were in one of the Just Cross Stitch or Cross Stitcher magazines. If anyone wants to know the magazine, I can find them, but I've done all 6. So I've got Christmas bunny. Sorry, this is a bit awkward and bangy. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the neighbours. There is only pro swimmer out there this morning because there is a very specific hardcore group of my neighbours that come out on Friday mornings, and they're very serious and very quiet. So don't expect a lot of neighbour action this early on a Friday. Then there are the bride and groom bunnies. Sorry, these are a bit hard to hold, that's better. These tins, by the way, you can just buy them in 6 packs off Amazon and they're quite cheap. They do close with the bunnies in them, but one thing I did find with them closed is because I used double-sided tape to put the backgrounds in, the winter one. Look at him in his headband, so cute. There we go. If you put the bunny in and then close it, it's quite squishy because I stuff things quite hard or quite full. The double-sided tape was starting to stick them together, so just something to keep in mind. Then we have the sewing room bunny. This is one that we can all relate to. I wish I had a sewing room that looked like this. I do not, for the record. And there she is, the sewing bunny. Is it? Oh, yeah. So she's gardening, not sewing. Oh no, she's got a little penny on. These are super cute. They're not a lot of stitches, but they feel like a lot of stitches. See, this one's gone a bit wonky with its double-sided tape. I hate glue because I'm awkward and uncoordinated. Whoops. Come on, girl. And they're all double-sided, back-sided, so they're proper little bunnies. And then 2 more. Sorry, this is Whistle Stop Quick. Bonjour, the French bunny. I love this scene. I think it's so gorgeous. And here he is with his baguette. I have not named them. Could have named them. And then lucky last, these are in no order, by the way. They do come as part of a calendar and they go through an order, but whatever. And last of all is the kitchen bunny. She's mixing up something cake. I reckon she's a cake baker. So there we go. They are the bunny tins. And if anyone wants to know the magazine, just let me know and I'll look it up. I just didn't do it. Now, the other finish that I promised a really long time ago to show my friend Snail Stitcher on Instagram. I don't actually know how to show this here because it is enormous. So during COVID lockdowns in Melbourne, stitched quite a lot. Melbourne had ridiculously long lockdowns during COVID, but whatever, it was fine. I was safe. And I really got back into cross stitch during COVID. And one of the things that I found was HAEDs, so Heaven and Earth Designs. And I did one in 2021, which was Mini Amsterdam. And then Amazing Animal Kingdom by Amy Stewart. Now, if you're not familiar with HAEDs or this particular one, like this is, yeah, I don't even know how to show it, but it's this. You ready? It's ridiculous, right? It goes on forever. Hi, here I am over here. So there's no way, no good way. I mean, unless I really go back. And even then I can't. Maybe you're seeing it. I have no clue. But that's my HAED finish. So here's proof. You can actually finish a HAED. Now this is 374,500. Let's not exaggerate. Stitches. It lives in a finished box. What do I do with it? It took me maybe a year and a half to 2 years to do. It was before I was really tracking stitches and stuff. I'm proud of it. I will never stitch one this big again because it's, yeah, I mean, what do you do with it, right? I can't even fold it properly while sitting. So, oh, here we go. Maybe we could just show the bottom there. Bottom part, that's half of it. Tell you what, if I ever need an extra blanket, and the top half. So there you go, full coverage stitches that have got big ones on the go, you can actually finish them. However, like I say, that was 2 years of my life and monogamous. Oh, hey, look at the fox. That's cute. I think sometimes with these huge projects, the real shame is there's so much to look at, it's almost overwhelming. And because you just focus on how big it is, you don't stop to look at all those little bits. But that's my HAED finish. So let's go back and look at the things I've been working on and finished this time around. Very quickly, I will remind you all, it is Stitch Aussie August. Thank you everyone who has joined in so far. It's been so much fun seeing and hearing, because I know a lot of you are also mentioning in your Flosstubes. I really do appreciate it. I wish I had time today to shout out everybody that's participating. I'll try and do that in the next video. To be honest, I also wasn't organized enough to make a list. But if you want to join in, it's not too late. It goes for the whole of August, and you can do it after August if you want to, who cares? And it is pretty much stitch something designed by an Australian designer on a piece of Australian dyed fabric with an Australian dyed thread that has an Australian animal or icon or something, or even colors. Or as I said to one of my friends, you're stitching something at the same time as me. You can say you're stitching it with an Aussie, you're participating. Whatever. I mean, technically, I could say everything I'm doing is Stitch Aussie August because I'm an Aussie, but that's probably taking the mick a little bit. Anyway, so how am I going so far for Stitch Aussie August? I have crossed off all of this top row. I should have crossed off this one this morning because I finished this one. So I'm on target with all of the goals that I had set. The only one that I'm missing is that I should have been doing my windows of time in my lunch break every day, and I've missed 3 out of the 10 or 9 so far lunch break stitches. 2 because I just didn't have time to stitch during my lunch break. I was doing other things, and 1 because I forgot that's what I was supposed to be doing. So fair enough. But yeah, there's still 2 weeks of August to go, and I will do my last video, it looks like, on either Saturday the 29th or Sunday the 30th of August, and do a bit of a wrap up then as well. So, stitching. This is my one, this is a start and finish, and this is so me. I'm sorry, let's go this side so it doesn't trigger anybody too much. Maybe I'll just cover up my face. And this is called, Pass Me a Fridge Sig, which is what I've called it maybe. This is by Jack the Stitcher on Etsy. It is a little tiny thing of 552 stitches, so I stitched it over 2 days on a 36 count white linen. It looks weird color because there's something else on this piece of fabric folded behind it. I am a Diet Coke addict. I would say in the last 20 years, I've probably had maybe 5 or 6 days where I haven't had a Diet Coke. I know it's bad, but there are worse habits in the world. And you know, it's my one vice. I don't drink coffee very often, maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. The only caffeine I get is from tea. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I certainly don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I used to. And apart from some wine and the occasional takeaway, I live a pretty healthy life. So if the worst I'm doing is drinking Diet Coke, it's okay. But that was fun to stitch. And right, let's whip. Because at some stage I do have to go to work and earn money to buy more stuff. Adjust Your Sails by Little Dove Designs. I have done not a great deal, only 207 stitches, but I love this one, so I thought it was fun to show it again. Oh my God, by the way, if you're new here, if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much. If you are one of my returning viewers, love you guys. I know that there is a bunch of you who are regularly here, regularly comment, and I really, really appreciate that. When I'm having a bad day, the people that I've met through Flosstube and also cross-stitching on Instagram, I can always find something to cheer me up, and I really appreciate all of you. I'm sorry I forgot to say that at the beginning, but I've said it now, so there is something. Anyway, back to Adjust Your Sails by Little Dove Designs. Really all I've done is more border and finished off the water. I love the effect of the water. It's done with DMC color variations. It's not a fancy floss, and I think it's just come out so beautifully. So that is now 30% complete. It's stitched on a piece of 40 count platinum linen 1/2. And this is all it's all DMC, so yeah, I love that one. And I've just realized the downside of doing this and then like squishing out here to work is I'm gonna come home to a complete bombshell mess. Oh well, give me something to do. Okay, distracted by random thoughts. Next up is the Two Happy Possums Christmas Advent Sal. This has been super fun, and there's so many people stitching it, and Marie's done such a fabulous job. Her Facebook group is so lovely and really, really active, and Marie's kept up beautifully with social media and all that stuff, which, you know, is really hard. You've got real life to live as well, but she's done an amazing job, and we have just got part 7 last night, which I will be making my Friday night stitching. And the last 2 pieces that we've had are Santa and his rusty Holden Ute, if you know, you know, and the poinsettia. Anyway, his name's Paul. I can never pronounce it properly. So we're on track. I'm doing okay with the borders. These are DMC metallic, so, you know, we know what they're like. And says, oh no, there would be, with the 2 pieces together, I've added 1,140 stitches since last time. And this is being stitched on a piece of 32 count white linen with, I know the borders, but it's fine. I've got a plan. It's all good. So there we go. That is the Christmas Advent Sale by Two Happy Possums. And there's a Colin. Still no Collins have arrived. They're very slack. They'll turn up eventually. All right, next up is the Mystical Magpies, Magical Magpies, Magnificent Magpies, whatever. They seem to be called different things because we struggle with is it alliteration? Anyway, it is the beautiful Magpies by Needlelot Designs from her Fantasy Cross Stitch book. And I have added, since last time, 1,376 stitches to get to here. It is essentially the rest of this wisteria, more of his tail, and the pocket watch. And this is so beautiful. This is on a piece of 32 count sage by Paddock Lane Designs, which was one of her fabrics of the month. The design is beautiful to stitch. Some of this wisteria blows out a little bit because it's quite, but I actually like that because I don't really need that to be the focus. The birds are the focus and the other elements. So this is now 29.85%. This is a much bigger piece than I think I realized, but that's okay because it's beautiful to stitch on. And I love, I'll just bring it back for a second. There's like a combination of block stitching, so you know you can make fast progress, but also the more intricate counting around the things like the pocket watch. It's really clever. Iris is such a clever designer in the use of color. There we go. The sun is starting to come up. It is still grey. I don't think it's going to rain, but anyway. Right, next. I'm going fast, but I do need to because I have to go and earn money to buy more cross-stitch shit. Sorry, stuff. Extraordinary exhibition. Up to date with the addition of Mr. Picasso down here in the corner. This is an epic piece of stitching and back stitching. There's so much back stitching in it. Can you see it? Sorry, I can't see what you see, so I'm guessing. This is on a piece of 32 count Decrepit from number 12 Stitch Co. You can buy her pieces on Etsy. I've seen a few people stitching on Decrepit and buying Decrepit. It's such a fun fabric. It's got beautiful colours. But that is the August part, so I'm up to date. I'm so proud I'm still caught up with this. Huge thanks to my two friends who are also still up to date with me on this. I think that is probably the motivation that's keeping me going. So this part was 2,000 stitches, this release, and they're monthly releases, so they are manageable. I did complain about them a couple of months ago, but yeah, Extraordinary Exhibition by Clouds Factory. Okay, and next up is When Life is Done by Silver Creek Samplers. Shout out to Holly, who from House of Hood, who is the one that who showed this pattern. So then I went out and brought it because I fell in love with it. And I have made some progress in the last couple of weeks. 691 stitches. Sorry, the clips have not performed the job that I hoped they would, so it's got a bit skew-iff, but I think last time I just had some of the letters and not much, and I have gone along the bottom here, which is her dress. I've put in the hands. Come on, I should have picked up a board. Anyway, whatever. The sun, this bit of grass, and some more of the text. So me is done. That's how I feel most days. Me is done. This is stitched on a piece of 32 count Apple Grove by Paddock Lane Designs, which was also a fabric of the month. It is a little bit more green than we're getting here, but yeah, it's a combination of DMC and Weeks Dye Works and Classic Color Works, etc. So that is Life is Done by Silver Creek Samplers. I forgot to mention on a lot of my previous ones, everything else was stitched in the called for DMC. So next up we have Selkie by Quaternion Creations. This one's been on the go for a little while, but we are making progress. Right, this one needs a board because it's floppy. So here we are. So I have come down here, finished off this side, finished the crabs. I have some counting mistakes in this, so I was a bit worried that if I didn't kind of put the things in that really needed to be exact, which is the crabs, because you'd notice these being off. So I wanted to do that, get that border in, and now I'll come up and fill in the rest of this. It's stitched on a piece of 32 count, what's it called? Shimmering Pool Opalescent. You cannot see the opal in this light, by Colour Cascade Fabrics. It's just 2 colors, which is really fun, so you can make fast progress, but there is a little bit of visual simulation. That sounds like a very wrong thing to be saying, but variation maybe is what I'm aiming to say there. So that is Selkie by Quaternion Creations. My board back though, just in case. All right, another 2 Happy Possums piece. This one we see a lot. I'm going to stop showing the picture of this one going forward, I think, because we're getting to the stage where it's obvious what it is. This is Laughing All the Way. There's a bunch of different people stitching this as well, which is really fun. Janet also calls hers Colin, various other names that people have given them. I don't know why I name stuff. I don't know, it's just the way my brain works, I guess. And here he is. So I have added in, Selkie I put in 550 stitches. This one I put in only 307, but you know, it's 307 and it's now at 30%. This is so much bigger than you would imagine, which is mainly over here, counting down and off the letters. And I think also adding in all since last time, because we were just laughing the way, and a little bit in here that you can't actually see because it's in ecru and down in here. This is stitched on a piece of 32 count opal, even weave, in white, so no fabric dye or anything, but he's so fabulous. And I love the colours of all the greens and the reds. They're so Australian. It's beautiful. So that's the Colin update. Still doubting whether it'll be finished by Christmas, but we do what we can, right? I just realised I'm kind of blending into the sofa. I'd like to live my life blending into the sofa, to be honest. But anyway, next, Windows of Time, Crochet Go-Go. I'm up to September. I have not written down the percentage, but I'd say I'm probably at 40%. This one has quite a few stitches. It doesn't really fit the theme of the weather here because I need it to be spring. Sorry about that thread. And this is very autumnal colours, but that's okay. I have September, October and November left to go, so I am 2.5 left of these, and then I'm not going to do monthly stitches like that again. This has been fun. I love them. I'm going to be so happy that I have a whole set at the end, but I'm not going to do that again. It's become a job, and it shouldn't be a job. But they will get there. They will get there. Okay. Sorry if this feels rushed. Well, I'm not really, because it is what it is, right? Mojo Stitches, 2 from Tasmania. I am stitching the big one. I will come and do the little one later on. This is very Stitch Aussie August because it is an Australian designer on a piece of Australian dyed fabric in Australian dyed threads. So this is done with cottage garden threads, and this is a piece of 36 count corset by number 12 Stitch Co. It is slow going. It's got a lot of specialty stitches. It has a lot of French knots, which I'm okay at. I don't mind doing them, but there's a lot. So I think a board will be helpful here. I've done all of this confetti here, some more of the flowers, and I mean, they're beautiful, right? And it's so intricate. This guy up here, another one of the little bush mice, which have a proper name, which I should look up, and more of this border here. So I added in, where is it? I can't read upside down. You guys can keep looking at this while I read my list. I added in 316 stitches and it's at 13%. That's probably a pretty true colour, maybe a bit more pinky than you're seeing there. That's 2 from Tasmania by Mojo Stitches in Cottage Garden Threads. We still have not shipped my large order. Just saying. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to try and be positive today because it's Friday. Next up is, Garden of Shadows by Sprouting Lupine. Now, nobody picked up, but in my last video, I said, when I was talking about the Evergreen sale by Sprouting Lupine, which, if you've seen the new piece of that, amazing. It's in my starts, so we'll see it. And I said, I have never stitched a Sprouting Lupine piece. I've got 2 in my whip pile. Girl, not paying attention. Anyway, this is Garden of Shadows. This is what it will look like. And this is what I've done. So I've added in Garden of Shadows 608 stitches. I have no idea on the percentage because it's a paper pattern, which kind of kills me a little bit, but anyway, stitched in the called for DMC on 32 or 6? 32 count Blackest Lily even weave by Colour Cascade Fabrics. Fluff there. What I've done is pretty much all of this. So added in the lantern, started on the trellis, some of the flowers here, I think. The rest have been done before. And honestly, guys, Sprouting Lupine, her colours are so smart. And, you know, I'm using colours in here I would never normally use for something that depicts nature, or actually some colours that I haven't used for ages. And I think it's just so clever. I have not got to the unicorn yet. Part of me wanted to stitch the unicorn straight away. Part of me knows that it's a lot of like 310. But yeah, I think it's looking really good. My Sprouting Lupine obsession. Even though 2 weeks ago I didn't think I was doing any of them. Fine. All right. We're getting towards the end of the WIPS already, so I might actually be at work on time. Might even have time to pack up a little bit. Probably not. Bonny Swans by Modern Folk Embroidery. This one's been on the go for quite some time. I've added 437 stitches. Let's see what it looks like. Stitched in DMC 3865 board. Pretty much what I've done is finish the words here. And this is stitched on a piece of, what is it called? Perry Sandhills by Paddock Lane Designs. There you go. As you can tell, it's been folded for quite some time and my ironing was not great. But I love it. White stitching, always frustrating. I think the H here, I took that out 3 times. Now, part of that was because I was struggling to count, and actually I still don't like the way it looks. I wonder if it's correct. Like, it's very... Anyway, overthinking. What was I saying? Yeah, white stitching is hard, but I think it's going to look beautiful when it's finished. And, you know, it's Modern Folk Embroidery, so it's clever, always. In retrospect, I wish I'd done one of the Swans black. Maybe I still could, because there's still, like, there's 1, 2, 3. No, maybe not. I don't know. Who do I think I am getting all fancy like this? Normally I just follow the patterns. Like, what is this? And you'll see in a minute what happens when I play around with things. We have not seen this one for a very long time. I think the last time I stitched on it was April, which is the Stitches Book Club by Clouds Factory. So what I have done in the last 3 months, it's really bad actually. I should get further with this. Let's see, this little board is not ideal, but it will do. Is I have finished Alice in Wonderland and Agatha Christie. So I think added in the tree and just little bits and pieces and backstitched the clock and those. So now randomly I put the whole thing in markup to see the total stitches because, you know, I'm a numbers person. And I'm halfway, even though this is part 5, I'm at 47% or something. So I think some of the upcoming pieces are 43%. Okay, so maybe not less in the second half than in the first, but so good. This is just on a piece of printed even weave. I'm not sure what it's even called anymore. In the call for DMC, I do regret some of the white on this fabric, but I'm not going to backstitch and I'm not pulling stuff out. Like, it can just be a bit faded, blown out, whatever. It's my stitching and do what I want. Right, next up, Among the Roses by Mojo Stitches. I started this one in September last year, so it's been around for a while, and it's so beautiful. I don't know why, I just don't keep going with it. I don't know. But I did. This last 2 weeks I put in 315 stitches, which is not a lot, but it's 315 more. It's now at 43%, and it was essentially, I think, in around here, and maybe finished off up here and here. This is on a piece of 32 count Sandy by Paddock Lane Designs, now at 43%. I've used the DMC conversion. If I knew then what I know now, I probably would have got the fancy flosses for some parts and done it. But I think as a DMC conversion, it's still beautiful. So that's Among the Roses. All right, 2 more WIPs, and then the starts, and then no haul. So, all right, first of 2 on the same. So yesterday I spent probably 10 minutes searching for my printout of mystical magpies. I've literally just flipped this page. This is Enchanting Unicorn, also by Needlelot Designs. It was on the other side. Whatever. Enchanting Unicorn by Needlelot Designs. I started this on my birthday in April. It is still a work in progress. That's fine. And this is how far I've got. I've really just been adding tail and unicorn bits. 18 count Ada, called for DMC, added 278 stitches to get it to 39.04%. So, and again, her use of color, just, I don't know, these people that are good at color, because I'm really not. So it's something I super, super admire. And then on the other side of that piece of fabric, if you remember some Flosstubes ago, I asked if people had any Leafy Seadragon pattern recommendations, and I got lots of messages and comments from people. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time out to either search for or tell me about patterns. But the one I've chosen to start is this one by Bad Stitch. And what I've done, and I don't have the mock-up, but shout out to Bad Stitch. This comes in different color variations. This one that is on the cover is, you know, the rainbow variation, but she's done, I think, Bad Stitches. Anyway, Bad Stitch has done different color variations, which makes it really easy to do your own color conversion because there's not that many colors, and it's set out in a way that you can see, you know, how to select the right bits for the colors that you're choosing. So what I've chosen to do is greens. And so this is it upside down? No, it is not. It is the right way around. My start on Leafy Seadragon, 522 stitches done to already be at 25%. So it's not the biggest of stitches. Sorry, just said if there's anyone else outside. There is not. Boring. There probably will be a party out there tonight now or something in punishment. So all in greens. Various greens. At some stage I will list them all out on 18 count Ada. And I started this as part of my starts for Stitch Aussie August because Leafy Seadragons are Australian, Southern Australian, and they are unbreedable in captivity. They will not breed in captivity. They are very fussy little fellas, so very important that they are taken care of in their natural habitat as well. Okay, 3 more starts. There are far more starts than finishes. Am I bothered? Not really. And this is the Sprouting Lupine Sal, the Evergreen Sal. I'm stitching on a piece of 36 count Daily Grind by number 12 stitch coats in DMCs. And look at this guy. Isn't he magnificent? Again, Sprouting Lupine, the colors, amazing. And look at this little fellow. There's like 10 stitches and some back stitch, and you've got a little dragonfly. It's not a butterfly. Girl, come on. super lovely. And the new release has come out, and it is beetles and a bee. I don't know, I looked at it like an hour ago, but oh, morning. It looks like a regular. It's got goggles. Don't know. Sorry. There we go. So the Evergreen Sour by Sprouting Lupine. I'm really excited to get back to that one. So beautiful. And my second last start is Ocean Drift by the Embroideress. Hey, we've got Seahorse, we've got Leafy Seadragon, we've got a lighthouse and ocean, very nautical. And this is how far I've got. So this is stitched on a piece of 40 count raw or natural, whatever you want to call it, Zweigart in called for Weeks Dye Works, 3 colours. And this is what I've gotten done so far. It is 504 stitches for 38%. So this won't take long to finish. It should be a finish next time I record. So there we go. And then the very, very last start, which I was completely influenced to start by Yorkshire Stitcher and Nikki Next Crafts and Shell at Cheesecake and Cross Stitch. That's it. I was about to say cheesecake and champagne, but that's combining two Flosstubers together, is the Strawberry Goose by Wild Dragon Crafts. Jen, she also is a Flosstuber under, I believe it's Wild Dragon Stitcher now. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I will link everything below. And this is her Strawberry Goose. Isn't she beautiful? I'm not the biggest fan of geese in real life, but they're great in stitching. I have converted to geese and ducks and on all those things. So this is what happens when someone goes, oh, I'm starting this. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to start for ages. Unplanned, unscripted, unable to attach to a board. Here she is. Now, if you've seen if you follow me on Instagram, the first time I stitched on this, I was watching the news and there was a goose on the news, a white goose in a pink cowboy hat. It was just like the funniest, I was sitting there stitching. I'm like, anyway, but there are pictures. So I have put in already nearly 1,200 stitches, 1,189 for 16.5%. So got the house, got to the border, which is good because I like to get the border started, and look at her face. Isn't she beautiful? So lovely. This is on a piece of 36 count Victoria Sponge by number 12 Stitch Go. So I've been breaking out my number 12 fabrics and getting started on them, even though I feel like they're so luxurious, it almost feels naughty, like I'm stitching on something that I'm not qualified to stitch on. But I decided, you know what, I've just got to start using it, because otherwise, yes, as someone said on Instagram, it does appreciate in value. Linen is, a sound, solid investment. I think the value will increase when it's got stitching on it. Plus it gets, eventually displayed. So that's it. Strawberry Goose is my last finish and my last piece of stitching to show you for this 2 weeks. Plans, continuing with Stitch Aussie August for the next 2 weeks. I've got 3 new starts still to go because there's still 3 Saturdays left in August. And then in September, I think I am just gonna stitch whatever I feel like. My football stitching game, which I've never really talked about because it's interesting only to me, will come to an end as the football season finishes. And I think I'm just going to enjoy being picky and choosy about what I stitch. Now, that may mean that I end up starting a lot more stuff because I enjoy the starts much more than I enjoy the WIPS, and definitely more than I enjoy, I enjoy the finishes as well. But anyway, whatever, I'm just yabbering on now and mixing up my words. So thank you so much for watching. I hope your stitching is smooth and your white stitches lay flat and your dark fabric is visible. And have a great weekend. I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you so much. Bye.